Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm back, Pat.
Hey, Rick, how you doing, buddy?
Oh, I'm doing great. Took off, got back last night at 1 in the morning. For anybody, Terry says back in North Dakota, oofta or oofta. That's funny, Terry. A friend I was staying with, we were doing something, and Nancy goes, oofta. And I said, oh, you said it.
Is that the primary? It's kind of like Wisconsin Golly G or oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. So if you haven't traveled to an airport lately, it's pretty crowded. I mean, really crowded. But yesterday afternoon, Denver had horrendous thunderstorms that just backed things up forever. So I'm in this airport in Devil's Lake, North Dakota, that's about the size of my iPhone, and for hours and hours. And then they finally let us take off and get to Denver, and there was going to take off at 10 o'clock, then 11 o'clock, then 11:30, 11:40, and it was rough. But I was way out here, Pat.
Wow,
And
really?
I said, well, where's the nearest grocery store? And she goes,
Really?
talk about out in the middle of nowhere with the most beautiful home you've ever seen. Nancy's a dear friend of mine. We share the love for photography, and she owns a house down here in Gold Canyon. So she invited me up to come see where she lives and kind of play tourist, and it was fun, and I appreciate it. Thank you, Nancy. It was so much fun, and that lake has got quite the story to it. But anyway, getting to real estate, I've been gone, and I tried to keep on track of the numbers. Today we have 7,307 homes on the market. That's the biggest yet so far. That's going to put us about 7,400 tomorrow, Pat. So that's going to be interesting. Now here's the one that is kind of puzzling to me, and I want to kind of dig into a little bit today if we can. In the 7-day moving average, we have 4,101 homes that have come on, with 3,906 go under contract. The difference has narrowed to only 195 homes. But the number of price reductions has climbed to 1,706. And so the 7-day moving average, while it looks like there's a big gap here, it's actually down here.
Mm-hmm.
But look at the homes under contract, how they're climbing.
Yep.
And they're climbing slowly. I mean, if we go look at the numbers here on this sloppy spreadsheet, they were 36, 36, 37. Now we're 39. So that they're coming up slowly at a time when we were told that everybody had, buyer remorse and they were backing off. I'm kind of not seeing it on a large scale, but Tyler, what did I miss? We're all done, Tyler.
We're done. Hey, you missed it. It was one of the best shows ever.
Oh, unbelievable. What area are you seeing more sales? Melissa, hi. It's more of a price point. Fountain Hills is starting to see more sales, and so is Scottsdale. The Northeast Valley is where things are cranking. I'll show you a couple of examples. But on the mid-month pricing update that the Cromford report says, it says after the end of everything they said, I'll show you here. Thus, we are forecasting that sales prices will moderately bounce back after the brief weak spell that we just experienced. Upward pressure on pricing has eased a great deal over the past 4 months, but it has not been eliminated. And that's important for everybody to know, that there's still upward pressure, but it's just not, it hasn't gone away.
Yeah. It seems like somebody, I guess in layman's terms, you pick up a bottle of club soda and you you shake it and you open it up and it kind of, you're like, oh, it's going to squirt out, and you shut it and you kind of slowly let that stuff come out of the bottle. It's like, it's still coming out.
Yeah.
Not like the pressure field that you just explodes. Because we saw, I mean, I think a pretty damn good analogy, actually.
Yeah. I'm going to write that one down.
But I mean, you saw this. I mean, I just, like you said, talking to loan officers, talking to agents, it seemed like I said, you look at the numbers, you go a deep dive into the numbers. I just look at the psychology, just kind of get a 30,000 foot view of the psychology. But it seems like a couple months ago, it was like people were like got to get in, got to, I got to bid 30, 40, 50,000 over. I'm just not hearing that, that craziness, but they're still bidding up. I mean, and I've seen appraisals, like I said, well, I think I said this a couple weeks ago, somebody's listing a house for 450, but it should be 400. People are, once the appraisal comes in at 420, and then, a week and a half before closing, the seller's like, all right, we'll drop it from 450 to 425. But the buyer still might have to come in with, I've had a couple of instances, where the buyers had to come in with 10,000 over or 5,000, but it wasn't that craziness of 30, 40, 50, 60,000 over.
No, we just had one in Chandler. It's going to close next week, and we came in over asking price, and I'll be darned if it didn't appraise at our contract price.
Yeah.
We had appraisal gap language in there that I just don't like that stuff, but we didn't have to use it. And one of the things I'm seeing is Cromford report shows us that Open Door purchased in July 657 homes versus last year purchasing 59.
Mm-hmm.
That's 1,014% increase. OfferPad 143 versus 140. Zillow 156 versus 44. Redfin's only purchased 6. So when you look at this number, and then it says that the price point that they're buying, the median purchase price is 427. You look and you go, well, why are they scooping them all up? And I think they are making money. This is their first quarter results here, and total revenue was up 200% versus the first quarter of 2020, and gross profit is up 97 million, 13% of total revenue. So right now, according to their reports, they're making money. But I think why they doubled their purchases is they're making money, and so they want to gobble up as much as they can. And they saw this. Inventory was down here in May at 693 homes in the price range that they're buying, Pat.
Yeah.
And now look, we're at 1384. So they're scooping them up. And what's frustrating for buyers is you don't ever get to see that. People request the offer online, and an Open Door comes in and goes, here you go. The average Joe is never going to see that home was going to go up for sale until Open Door decides they're going to list it. And then it gets sticky a little bit because it says here that, I got to find out where it is, but we have frequently seen a few homes going to investors, but the past 3 months, iBuyers are being resold at a large scale to landlords. I did not know that. And they're
being resold to landlords. You mean like investors?
Yeah, investors.
I wonder if
resold 37 homes to RS, 21 to AH4R, and 8 homes to Progress. Smaller investors have also obtained a few homes from Open Door. So again,
basically, investors going backdoor are using Open Door and all these other ones to buy their homes. I wonder, because I just had one last week. This gentleman listed a house in Tucson for $435. And he was not selling it. And I think he dropped it down to $415, $420. And Zillow came in and offered him like $452.
They've gotten extremely aggressive.
So
buyers or sellers, before you go to them, just let you know there's an option that you can have your real estate agent put your house in, and it doesn't cost you any more money. And the real estate agent can represent you in the sale and help you, negotiate the repairs when they come around, because that's where you really get stung, especially with the big Z. And so,
they're not going to represent. I mean, to have an agent represent you, because you're basically going up against Zillow, right?
And Open Door, and it can. And I've been able to get some people a little more money for their home because. I can say, hey, look, I know they submitted this, but here's what they left out. Now, it's got a great kitchen, a great location. So Open Door and Zillow have done a much better job of letting you put in your improvements, where before they didn't really have much for that. Mm-hmm. They just had you put in some basics. Now they kind of let you write a little bit of an essay. But it's never the sale price of the home where the problems arise. It's the repairs. So when you get that repair bill and they go, hey, we want you to credit us $8,000 at close of escrow. The inspection period with the iBuyers is just the same as any other transaction. So we can kind of negotiate that number down a bit and then find people to repair it for you, at a lower cost. So, that's a good way to avoid getting dinged. And the commission that they pay the real estate agents is small, but it doesn't come out of your pocket. So that's something to consider. But I think what's interesting though is that when we look at the uptick in that I just showed you on that 7-day moving average where buyer activity is coming up, some of that's Open Door and Zillow.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's there. I have read an article and I can't find it where they are just pouring money in, trying to scoop up as much nationally as they possibly can. And I think it may have to do with they've got this feeding frenzy with investors wanting to come in and use them as rentals, where before they'd package them up and just sell them. And now they go, wait, I've got institutional investors that want them after I purchase them and fix them up. That's a good deal.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's something to watch. There is an article in Realtor.com about boon for buyers, 10 cities where sellers are slashing home prices.
Mm-hmm.
And the map is right here. Number 1's Des Moines, Iowa. Number 10 is Peoria, Illinois. They're saying that they're going down like 32%, 28%. The percentage of homes with price cuts. Now, price cuts does not mean home prices are going down.
No, it just means that they're overvalued at the get-go.
I did ours, and tell me if my math is right, but we have 1,706 homes have price reductions out of 7,307. That's 23%.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, it just basically goes to the psychology of the seller. A seller, you see your neighbor sell their house for $450. The agent, you get an overzealous agent say, hey, the market's going up. We can probably get 500, 475, 480, 500. And then they can't. So they have to go from 500 back to 450, 460, 470 to get the price accepted.
Yeah. We got a question. If you're a first-time home buyer, knowing what you know now, with prices being higher than ever, would you buy in Phoenix right now? If you're going to stay more than 5 years, I would.
Yeah.
There is. I mean, look at that price point between 400,000 and 500,000. We are at 2019 inventory levels.
Yeah. I think the today's buyers just got to be more, it's not easy work to buy a house. I was reading a couple articles here the last couple of weeks, but they're talking about the psychology. Like I said, we've talked about this the last couple months, but we ran by it before. Back in the day, you could get in a car with a buyer today, right? And you could go find a house. Back in the old day, a couple of years ago, you go and find a house on Saturday or Sunday, put a contract, and get out Monday morning ready to roll. Now, it's like the stock market. The stock market's hitting highs, but there's always going to be that opportunity that you could buy. There's going to be that ugly duckling that you could buy that you're going to make money at. And I think it's the same thing with real estate, but you just, the low-hanging fruit's been picked. You just got to take time, to find that opportunity, because there's always going to be somebody that needs a desperate seller, a divorce situation. Somebody's got to move. They overprice their house, and now they got to drop it 30 or 40,000 to get. You're always going to have that opportunity, and I think that buyers that are really set on buying a house just have to go at it with a different frame of mind to say, hey, it's not going to be easy, but we want to. That's why get all your ducks in a row, and just. It ain't going to be easy, but it can be done.
Question here says, how much average percent price correction in real estate, not the crash? Are you saying there isn't a price correction in real estate going on right now because prices are still going up? There is a correction in asking prices.
Yeah.
So let me show you an example when I look at this chart here for a second. So if you put your home on the market down here in May, okay, you are going to get more than your asking price. Yep. Now that we're up here, and especially in the 600 to 800,000 range, I'm going to show you that one. In that one, we're going to, and this always goes so slow for me. We are at 964 homes, which is 2019 levels. And down in May, we were at 586 homes. So the inventory has doubled. So while you were getting multiple offers down here, and you look and go, well, we went up 3% from here to here in pricing. We went up 2.5% from here to here. Well, guess what? Word got out, and now everybody started listing their homes. Now the prices may be up 1%, 1.5%. But if you went 3, 3, 3, 3, and you priced at a 9 or 10% increase, nobody's going to look at it. And so because you're back at this level where the bidding wars have stopped in that price point.
Yeah.
So you have to pull it back, but the price of the home on the contract price has not been reduced. I hope that makes sense how I explained it. Now, if you get some of the higher price points, like a million, 1.5 million, their inventory is still slogging around down here in the bottom. So they've got a lot of pricing pressure going on.
Yeah.
And then it gets different when you go by city. There's some neighborhoods where there's still only 2 homes for sale. So you have an advantage with that if you're in a hot neighborhood. But this is the overall Maricopa market.
Like you said, I came back from vacation, and like you said, these are just the signals that I see, just very non-scientific. But I went on vacation. I came back to my neighborhood, and I saw 4 or 5 for sale signs, in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That's a subtle sign, but that's a sign, that something's going on. So, I mean, what I was going to turn this topic real quick. I mean, I ran across this article saying that landlords are looking for exit. The federal eviction moratorium taking its toll. It came out today. It was talking about these guys back east. This one guy, I'm just going to glance over the article, but it said, oh yeah, they're okay. You beat me to it, buddy.
You sent it to me.
Okay. Yeah. But I mean, it talks about, and this is the stuff you got to, you and I read and I discern, different articles and see what I'm seeing and what I'm hearing. But I mean, this, certainly there is going to be trouble that, kind of probably bruised, but this is going to, hopefully there are going to be some people that, that own the 2 or 3 homes that they haven't been paid in a year and a half. It is going to cause a little bit of, supply. But I think once again, you see the supply from investors and, these, I don't think it's going to have that,
I don't think we're going to feel much. I mean, if you're looking right now and seeing that these investors, even the small investors, are scooping up the open door homes, they're going to be right there as soon as you decide to get out of your rental. I mean, you're just going to have to go out on your front porch and go, previous rental for sale, who's interested? And it's gone.
Yeah. And then we talked about the mortgage
investor will buy it that has cash.
Exactly. So, I mean, there's a lot of cash out there. The mortgage delinquency, so they're talking. Also, there's the other article that we talked about the mortgage delinquencies. It says now they're at the lowest level since the pandemic began. I mean, basically, it said the delinquency rate dropped to 5.4%, down from 8.22%. That's about, let's say a 30% drop, give or take. But it was the lowest since the first quarter of 2020. It basically says, kind of what we talked about the last couple of months is that people are waiting for this crash, waiting for these foreclosures. I'm just not seeing it.
Well, there's always a possibility that can happen, but it has to show up in the numbers. We can't have a crash with low inventory. Mathematically impossible. Now, there can be a million things that can cause inventory to spike up. It wouldn't take much of an economic calamity for that to happen, but that's a whole different economic conversation. And you're welcome, Melissa.
Thank you.
It's that one's way out of my pay grade. So all I can do is look at what's going on in real estate numbers and saying for now, we've got some price points that are getting back to a balanced market. In fact, if you look, see if I can pull it up here. In the Cromford Market Index, looking at right here, look at Tempe. Remember 100 is a balanced market, and Tempe's down there at 230, 235. They're almost to a balanced market. And but you got Fountain Hills and Scottsdale, above 400, 471, Cave Creek 495.
Well, those numbers were in the 4, 5, 600s, weren't they, a couple of weeks ago?
All across the board, yes. Yeah. Gilbert is the one that kept going down, down, down. It was going down double digit. Now it's down 7% versus last month to 319. But keep in mind, 319 is still a seller's market.
Oh, yeah.
Paradise Valley's down 9% to 289. That one's kind of surprising, but it's the Northeast Valley, Scottsdale and Fountain Hills that's kind of going crazy. But we're getting ever so close. So Maricopa, Queen Creek, Buckeye, and Tempe in a couple months could be a balanced market.
Yep.
So
I think, for like that, to answer that question, what, as far as would you buy in Phoenix right now? Yeah. I mean, the prognosis for Phoenix is you got people moving here. You got job, obviously you got companies moving here. So I've been saying that for the last 10 years that Phoenix is still, I mean, the only thing I see, kind of scares me is, this is way out of my pay grade too, but, are we going to have enough water?
Oh, I'll tell you the one thing about flying over California, a couple of weeks ago, you look down and there is some water. And in North Dakota, Pat, you would not believe that lake, how much it has receded.
Really?
I don't know anything about the history of the lake. I do now, but
I don't want to be a Debbie Downer on this whole this cast, but
yeah, water. Well, here's the Cromford Demand Index. You can see that it's come up from 106 to 108. Not much, but it is slightly coming up.
Yeah.
Supply is coming up slightly. Yeah. 100 is where what is considered a balanced supply, but we're still down here. But the market overall is going down like a rock as far as getting towards. But this doesn't mean, oh my gosh, prices are going to fall. We get down here and it's normal. It's balanced. It's sitting at 363.
Pull that. Look at the 06 and 07, the last chart you pulled up.
Okay, just a minute. I got to adjust this camera. It decided that the audience didn't need to see me anymore.
Oh,
so
it's probably a good thing.
Yeah, that may be true. So go to 06, 07.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that. Yeah, I mean, that last one you had with the spike. It was this.
Oh, okay. I got you. I was going to the wrong page here. So on the market or demand?
Demand. No, it was the other one. Supply.
Okay.
I mean, look at it. Look at 06 and 07. I mean, look how far we are from, I mean, it's amazing.
So where was demand in June 5th of 2005? Let's see.
Yeah.
It was on its way down.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then demand started flying up. Look at how demand started flying up after 2007.
Yeah.
That was the investors coming in to take advantage of everything, right?
So
I got a new camera and it's got a little adjustment here it needs to do. So it's always good to look past, but you're not going to have, you're just not going to have a crash at this level.
No.
When you look at all. We sound like a broken record, but we were always sitting here saying, well, we're at 4,100 homes came on the market and 4,100 went under contract. That party's over.
Yeah.
So anybody got any questions on any particular part of town that I could look into while I have the chart up? I like to go into the tablet charts and look at active listings and take a look by city if I can. So if we were to look at, let's take a look at Gilbert and see where it's stacking up, because that one's been going down. One says Chandler. Let me take a look at that too. Gilbert is still just slightly above 2020 levels. Chandler is, here we are. Chandler's still below 2020 levels.
Yeah.
So there, you're going to continue the bidding wars out there. Was Levine in there? Tyler, let me put Levine in here. Let me see what we got. We are 312. They're below 2020. Now, depends on the price point. So let me mix this up a little bit. Let's say we go to Levine and say 300 to 400,000. What's going on? Only 46 homes. So that's a knockdown, drag out fight there.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's
Levine's kind of a cool little area. I mean, it's there's pockets in there. You're close to downtown.
Only 11 homes in Levine. I apologize, in that price point.
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting area. You buy South Mountain, you got some interesting areas.
Yeah, I made the mistake. I didn't unclick Chandler there for a moment, but
Oh,
Levine is at 62. They are at 2019 levels.
hmm, hmm.
So that's interesting. Um,
Interesting.
and if I drill down the price point, you'll probably see some more differences. But maybe some of that, builders are building a lot more out there. Um, and I'm reading that builders are backing off now simply because they want to wait for commodity prices to come down, supply, material prices.
Yep, that's what they're stuck in now. They're prices have come down, but they've got to bleed off the stuff that they're slowing down inventory because they've got to sell stuff that they bought at the higher lumber prices. So
Tyler's saying out of 150 homes in Levine, only 40 are used. That seems to mirror what we're seeing here, Tyler, which is 62. That sounds about right. So thanks for that. So yeah, Queen Creek, their Crawford Market Index is kind of evening out a little bit because you drive through there, you can see they're building a lot of stuff. So that's going to make a difference in the Crawford Index. So
Yep.
areas that are getting pinched are not going to see that. But
Yep.
well, Pat, I know you mentioned that you have an appointment coming up at 3:45 or something like that. So
before I got to head out, but next Friday I won't be here because I'm getting a new hip. Remember I told you, sir? Yeah, that'll be the new. But you can see down there that by where your hand is, I'll have a new hip.
Okay, yeah, we have a new hip down here. So
yeah.
So next week we will bring back Cardboard Pat.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm glad I didn't stick him in the drawer. So
yeah, I'm getting a hip replacement Friday morning. My left hip, so I don't have to limp around forever.
That's going to be good news. So you'll be jogging on Saturday, I can tell. So
yeah, I had a client of mine say, "Hey, I'll play golf. I'll play you for golf on Saturday morning. I might be able to beat you finally." So,
all right, well, have a super weekend, Pat. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks everyone for chiming in. Have a good weekend.
All right, take care.
Take care. Bye.
I gotta click this little button right here.